So the read and write extension within the Chrome browser has helped us for a long time in terms of having text read back to us, adding highlights to things, creating Google Docs, and working on websites as well as different files and things. But the one thing that is a little different is when we work with a PDF file. Now, for the longest time, the Texthelp read and write package of software has included something called the PDF Reader. That was a great option, but it has recently been updated and rebranded and is now called OrbitNote. So let's take a look and see what that's going to look like now. Now, as I look here on our doc and I see the read and write information that we have posted and I scroll down, we've always had options here for these additional pieces that are connected to and part of that same package of software. Previously, this was the Texthelp PDF Reader, but now it is called OrbitNote. And when I go to that page, I'm going to see some intro information about OrbitNote, and I can go down and look at the document and other stuff that they've posted for us. But let's just take a look at what it looks like. When I go to my drive, I've got a PDF file here, and it was just a scanned document on our photocopier. So when I open it, I see that read and write logo first, and then it flips around, and I've got OrbitNote here, and it is letting me know that there's no actual text in this document here. It says no text because, again, it's a scanned document, so it's just a photo essentially. I could click here and convert it with SnapVerter. That, of course, if I go back to our previous page here when I was looking at the read and write information, come back there, SnapVerter is one of those other three pieces that I mentioned that is part of that package. But right now, I'm not interested in converting it. I'm not going to use these other tools, the play button here, the stop button, for reading those things. First, I'm going to show you this option here because you have that right out of the gate without any extra steps. It's the screenshot reader. I can click on him and I can go ahead and just highlight this text here and it will see that photo
The OTIP
essentially
Partnership Program.
and immediately convert it and read it back to me. So that works great. If I do want to, I can of course click this and it will convert that for me if I've got all the SnapVerter set up, and it will now allow me to just hit the play button and I'll be able to go ahead and read that stuff. But I'm going to close this for right now. Instead, let's jump back and I'm going to open up something else here. Graphic organizer. I want to play with one of these guys. I'll use, is the sandwich a good decent? Sure, we'll play with the sandwich. Open up my sandwich one here. Spins around. This one does have text, which means I can immediately highlight that information and hit that play button.
Write your topic at the top. Add details to the middle layers.
And of course, it'll read all that to me. So that's great. I've got this first button here, which is the click to speak button. When I use that one, it just stays on. It's sort of a toggle that way. So you can see now as I've moved away from it, it's remained sort of pinkish red there. And as I hover over different information, it's just going to see that.
Sandwich chart. Write your topic at the top.
Right away.
Add details to the middle layer.
Pause. Perfect. Turn that off. And I still have this option as well. If I did find something that I need to draw a box around, I could do that too. So great options in here with how that's going to work. It's got some zoom tools down here. I've got a print button down here. One of the options that is really nice that's built in here, especially with something like this, I've got a worksheet that I want to send to my class. You'll notice now up at the top, there's now this button here for Classroom. So it's linked and integrated with Classroom, which means when you first set this up, when you first click on OrbitDocs and get it going, it's going to have a bunch of permissions that it needs access to, and one of them is Classroom, and this is why. When I get a document like this, I can just click that, pops up a nice little window for me, and I can choose to share to my classroom. I've got a few, so I'll choose the 2021 classroom and decide what am I going to do with this. Well, I'm not going to make an announcement. That's not super helpful. Maybe I'm making material, but most likely this is an assignment for my kids. So when I click that, I'm going to get some very familiar looking options here. We'll just make that a little bigger so we can see what's going on. Exactly like what I would see if I was in Classroom and I wanted to set up an assignment, except in this case it's already attached the file for me. Of course, I'm going to change that to make a copy for each student, and I can fill in the title and any additional instructions and scoring and different things that I might want to do here. And once I do, that assign button is just going to light up for me. So I can go through that, and of course, give it a title so that lights up. I've got that little button. I could also schedule this for later. So I can have it all ready to go and say, you know what, this needs to post on Monday at 9 o'clock. and just do it that way. For now, I'm going to close that window. I don't actually want to assign it to anything, but it gives me all the familiar tools that I'm used to seeing essentially up here for working with this document. So I could use my text tool, click into there, start typing names, click away from it, and that'll be left there. I can use this little pen tool if I needed to and come down and just start drawing whatever I need to draw, changing the colors. And there we go. Undo those messy bits and get off of that tool. I've got an eraser if I wanted to erase some stuff as well. Maybe I did a few things and wanted to go back and fix it. That's fine. I've still got my picture dictionary here. So if I've got any words highlighted, like chart, it'll give me a regular dictionary. That's the regular dictionary. This is the picture dictionary because it looks like a picture. And so it's going to give me pictures for charts. And these are the same tools that I'm going to find if I were to go back and say work with, I don't know, a document here. So I open up a regular old Google Doc, and this time I'm going to be using the more familiar read and write tools. So when I click on read and write, I get that little toolbar popping up here in a moment. And those tools, come on, read and write, where are you? Click. There they are the same sort of buttons that I just saw a minute ago in that OrbitDocs toolbar. Same dictionary, picture dictionary, play button for reading stuff back to me, same screenshot reader. So it's all very, very similar. They're keeping everything very nice and tight that way so that it's all familiar tools. So it looks a little different. No big deal. It is still essentially the same options that we had before with the PDF reader. It's just called OrbitNote now. And you can go ahead and jump into that stuff and start using all of that with your class.